The text came at 8:17 p.m. Grant Hale is at the old evidence warehouse. He's destroying records. If you want the truth about your wife, come alone. I read it twice. Rebecca had told me she was staying late at police headquarters for a budget meeting. Grant was her ex-husband, a former narcotics detective who now owned a private security company. He was also the only man we argued about. I called Rebecca. She declined the call. I tried again. Straight to voicemail. Fine, I muttered. Let's find out what you're hiding. The old evidence warehouse sat behind the city vehicle yard. The main gate was unlocked, which was a first sign that someone expected company. I found Grant near a black SUV. 3 hard drives and several evidence boxes were stacked in the open trunk. He looked at me and smiled. Ethan, took you long enough. I kept my phone recording inside my jacket pocket. What are you doing with police evidence? Those are old business records. They have evidence labels. He shut the trunk. You shouldn't be here. Neither should you. Grant stepped closer. He was taller than me and liked making sure everyone noticed. Did Rebecca tell you to follow me? My wife barely says your name at home. That's because she knows it bothers you. You don't bother me. He laughed. Then why are you here? I pointed toward the warehouse door. Put everything back. I'm calling the state police. His smile disappeared. You really think she'll choose you? This isn't about our marriage. Everything with Rebecca is about your marriage. You just don't know it yet. I pulled out my phone. Grant moved fast. He grabbed a metal pry bar from the back of the SUV and struck himself above the eyebrow. I froze. Blood ran down the side of his face. What the hell are you doing? He dropped the pry bar near my feet, then slammed his shoulder against the SUV. You attacked me, he said. You're insane. No, I know my ex-wife. Siren sounded before I could dial 911. Grant leaned against the vehicle, pressing his hand to his forehead. You called him before I arrived, I said. He gave me a weak smile. I planned ahead. 3 patrol cars entered the yard. The first person out was Rebecca. She wore her uniform, her gold Chiefs badge fixed above her left pocket. Her hand rested near her weapon as she approached us. For one stupid second, I felt relieved. Rebecca, I said. Grant set this up. Check my phone. I recorded. Step away from him. Her voice was cold and official. Grant raised both hands. Becca, he lost it. He accused me of sleeping with you. Then he hit me. I stared at him. That's a lie. Rebecca looked at the pry bar, then at the blood on Grant's face. Ethan, turn around. I thought I had misheard her. What? Turn around and put your hands behind your back. Check the warehouse cameras. We'll handle the evidence. I'm giving you evidence. My phone has a recording. Grant spoke softly. He followed me here. I was afraid he'd kill me. I stepped toward him. 2 officers immediately moved between us. Rebecca's hand went to her weapon. Do not take another step. I stopped. She had drawn that line for me, not for him. Rebecca, look at me. She did. But I couldn't see my wife in her expression. Turn around, she repeated. Are you arresting me? You are being detained pending investigation. For what? Aggravated assault and unlawful entry. The gate was open. Grant said, he threatened me for weeks. I looked at Rebecca, asked him for 1 text, 1 email, 1 witness. Her jaw tightened. This is not the place. This is exactly the place. You're about to arrest your husband based on your ex's word. Officer Daniels, she said, cuff him. Daniels hesitated. He was young, maybe 25. I had met him at the department Christmas party. Chief, should we review the security feed first? Rebecca turned sharply. Are you questioning a direct order? No, ma'am. He took my arm. I didn't resist. The cuffs closed around my wrists. Grant watched with satisfaction. As Daniels guided me toward the patrol car, I said, my phone is still recording. Rebecca stopped. She walked over and removed it from my hand. Unlock it. I want an attorney. Unlock the phone. Ethan. No. She held the screen in front of my face and used facial recognition. Then she opened the recording. Rebecca, don't. She stopped the file. Her finger moved across the screen. I heard the deletion sound. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Even Daniels looked shocked. I said, "You just destroyed evidence." Rebecca's face changed slightly. Not guilt, fear. I removed an unauthorized recording made on restricted city property. You didn't listen to it. I heard enough. No, you heard Grant. Grant stepped beside her. He needs help, Becca. I laughed once. You still let him call you that? Rebecca's cheeks tightened. Put him in the car. As Daniels opened the rear door, I looked directly at her. You know he's lying. I know you've been obsessed with him for months. Because he's using you. You don't understand what Grant has done for me. And you don't understand what you just did to us. Her eyes flickered, but only for a moment. At headquarters, they took my belt, wallet, and wedding ring. The desk officer placed the ring in a plastic property bag. I watched it fall inside. Phone call, I said. You'll get one after booking, Rebecca replied. She had followed me into the processing area. Are you afraid I'll call someone who won't obey you? This isn't personal. My wife deleted evidence to protect her ex, then had me put in a cell. What part isn't personal? She lowered her voice. Grant saved my life. That doesn't give him ownership of it. You attacked him. I watched him hit himself. Then prove it. You deleted the proof. She looked away. That hurt more than the cuffs. A female detective entered the booking area. I recognized her as Maya Torres from Internal Affairs. Chief, Maya said, I need to speak with you. Later. It concerns the warehouse surveillance. Rebecca went still. What about it? Maya glanced at me, then back at her. The video feed is missing. Rebecca recovered quickly. Technical failure? No. Someone deleted it through an administrative account. Find out who. Maya held her gaze. I already did. Rebecca's expression warned her to stop talking. Maya stopped. An officer led me into a holding room. 10 minutes later, he pushed a phone through the slot. One call. I dialed a number I had avoided for 5 years. My father answered on the second ring. Richard Cole. Dad, it's me. Silence. Then his voice changed. Ethan? What happened? Rebecca arrested me to protect Grant Hale. Another pause. Did she use her authority to interfere with evidence? Yes. Did you witness it? She deleted a recording from my phone. The warehouse surveillance is gone too. His voice became calm in a way that used to terrify federal defendants. Where are you? Redwood Falls Police Department. I'll be there in 15 minutes. The line disconnected. Maya appeared outside the holding room after the officer left. She looked over her shoulder before speaking. The camera footage wasn't lost. She whispered, I know. The deletion came from Chief Cole's administrative account. My chest tightened, though I had expected it. Maya stepped closer to the door. There's something else. I copied the system log before anyone could erase it. For the first time that night, I smiled. Keep it somewhere Rebecca can't reach. Maya nodded. From the hallway, Rebecca called her name. Maya walked away. I sat back and stared at the empty space on my left hand where my wedding ring had been. Rebecca believed her badge made her untouchable. Maya left before Rebecca could catch her near my cell. A minute later, my wife appeared at the door. Who were you talking to? An officer who still remembers what her badge means. Rebecca unlocked the holding room and stepped inside. She carried a folder but no recording equipment. Sit down. I'm already in a cell. Don't make this harder. I looked at her uniform, then at the wedding band on her hand. You deleted evidence. Rebecca, how much harder can it get? Her mouth tightened. I didn't come here to argue. That's convenient. She opened the folder and placed 3 pages on the bench beside me. What is this? A proposed resolution. I picked up the first page. The document said I would plead guilty to misdemeanor assault and criminal trespass. In exchange, the district attorney would recommend probation, anger management classes, and no jail time. I looked up at her. You wrote my confession for me? I'm trying to keep you out of prison for a crime I didn't commit. Grant has a head injury. The pry bar has your fingerprints. I picked it up after he hit himself. That's not what he says. And his word is enough? There were no other witnesses. There was a recording until you deleted it. Her eyes moved toward the hallway. Lower your voice. Why? Afraid your officers might hear what their chief did? She leaned closer. You went to a restricted facility. You confronted a man you've accused me of sleeping with. Then he ended up bleeding. I never accused you of sleeping with him. You didn't have to. I stared at her. That answer told me more than she intended. Has he been in our house? What? Grant, has he been in our home when I wasn't there? No. She answered too quickly. Have you met him outside work? This has nothing to do with the case. It has everything to do with the case. You arrested me because you already decided I was a jealous husband. You are jealous. I was suspicious. Now I know I was right. Rebecca grabbed the papers. Sign the agreement. No. Ethan, listen to me. Felony assault could cost you your contracts, your security clearance, everything. You're threatening my career now? I'm warning you. You should warn yourself. She slammed the folder shut. Your father can't fix this. I smiled without humor. So you knew who I called. Calls from detention are monitored. You listened to my privileged conversation? He isn't your attorney. He's a former federal prosecutor. He's also your father, and he spent years teaching you that consequences are for other people. I stood. My father and I barely speak because I chose you. Her expression shifted. I had never said that aloud. When Rebecca ran for police chief, my father had warned me that her department had unresolved complaints tied to Grant. I accused him of trying to control my marriage. We stopped speaking after that. Rebecca knew the story. She also knew what it had cost me. I never asked you to cut him off, she said. No, you just made me choose between trusting my wife and trusting my father. And you still don't trust me. You erased my proof. Because you illegally recorded a conversation. That's not why. She looked away. I stepped closer. Tell me the truth. Did Grant call you before I arrived? Rebecca said nothing. He did, didn't he? He said you had been following him. So you came prepared to arrest me. I came prepared to stop someone from getting hurt. Only one of us was ever in danger, and it wasn't Grant. The door opened. Grant walked in with a white bandage over his eyebrow. He had changed his shirt. Someone had even cleaned the blood from his hands. Why is he here? I asked. Rebecca turned. You shouldn't be in this area. Grant ignored her and looked at me. I told the district attorney I didn't want prison time. You told the district attorney whatever Rebecca asked you to say. No one asked me to lie. You're right. You volunteered. He smiled. Rebecca stepped between us. Grant, leave. I came to help. You've helped enough, I said. Grant placed a hand on Rebecca's shoulder. She didn't remove it. Becca, you don't have to protect him from the truth. The nickname hit harder than I expected. I looked at her hand. Her wedding ring caught the overhead light. How long has he been calling you that again? Rebecca finally pulled away from him. This is not the time. Grant gave me a satisfied look. You see, she still cares what happens to you. I laughed. She arrested me. She's offering you a deal. She's trying to make me confess before anyone sees the evidence she deleted. Rebecca pointed at the door. Grant, get out. He didn't move. Instead, he came closer to the bars. When you're convicted, she'll finally understand that you were never strong enough for her. Rebecca said, Stop. Grant kept his eyes on me. You hide behind computers, behind contracts, behind your father. Rebecca needs someone who understands what she's lived through. I walked to the door until only the bars separated us. You mean someone who can use her guilt? His smile faded. I continued. You got shot during a narcotics raid 12 years ago. You remind her every time she tries to say no to you. Rebecca's face went pale. Grant said, You don't know anything about that night. I know you've been collecting interest on one bullet for 12 years. He grabbed the bars. You think this is a game? No, I think it's blackmail. Rebecca stepped forward. That's enough. I looked at her. Ask him why the evidence boxes were in his SUV. He was retrieving company records. From a police warehouse? They were released to him. Show me the release order. She didn't answer. Grant said paperwork gets delayed. Evidence doesn't leave a warehouse because paperwork gets delayed. Rebecca turned on him. Grant, stop talking. His jaw tightened. For the first time, I saw fear pass between them. Maya appeared in the hallway. Chief, we have a problem. Rebecca faced her. What now? The state attorney general's office sent an emergency preservation notice. Rebecca froze. For what records? Everything connected to the warehouse, Grant Hale, and Ethan Cole's arrest. Grant stepped away from the cell. Who contacted them? Maya looked at me. Rebecca followed her gaze. My father, I said. She shook her head. He couldn't have moved that fast. You've never met him when he thinks someone abused public office. Rebecca walked toward Maya. Do not release any internal files without my authorization. Maya held up the notice. This overrides local authority. I am the chief of police, and this is a state order. Grant touched Rebecca's arm. Becca, we need to talk privately. She pulled away this time. Maya looked at me through the bars. The state requested the original camera logs. Rebecca's voice became sharp. There are no original logs. The system failed. Maya met her eyes. No, ma'am, it didn't. Silence filled the hallway. Rebecca looked at Grant. He looked back at her. Neither of them looked surprised. That was when I understood. My wife hadn't made one reckless decision at the warehouse. She and Grant had already discussed what would happen to the cameras. I gripped the bars. How many times have you done this for him? Rebecca turned toward me. Ethan, how many cases did you bury? Don't say another word. Was tonight the first time you used your badge to protect him? Grant said, You don't know what you're talking about. Maya stepped between him and the exit. Mr. Hale, you need to remain in the building. He laughed nervously. Am I under arrest? Not yet. Rebecca stared at Maya. That sounded like a threat. It was an instruction. A desk officer hurried into the hallway. Chief, 2 state investigators just entered the lobby. Rebecca closed her eyes for 1 second. Then she looked at me. There was no apology in her face, only panic. She stepped close to the cell and whispered, Sign the agreement before your father gets here. Once he turns this into a public fight, I may not be able to protect you. I folded the confession in half and pushed it back through the bars. I don't need protection from the truth. Her voice broke. You don't understand what Grant did for me. He saved your life once. Yes, and now you're helping him destroy everyone else's. She flinched. Grant called from the hallway. Rebecca, we need to leave. I watched her turn toward him automatically. That movement answered every question I still had. I said, Go ahead, choose him again. She stopped but didn't face me. I heard the main lobby doors open. A man's voice carried down the hallway. Where's my son? I hadn't heard my father speak in 5 years. Rebecca had never met him. But when Richard Cole walked into the station with 2 state investigators behind him, she knew exactly who he was. My father entered with 2 state investigators. Rebecca stepped in front of them. This is an active investigation. Visitors stay in the lobby. Dad looked at the marks on my wrists. I'm not here as a visitor. One investigator handed Rebecca a document. Special Agent Laura Bennett, Colorado Bureau of Investigation. We're taking control of all evidence connected to Ethan Cole's arrest and the warehouse. Rebecca refused the paper. You don't have authority over my department. Dad answered. They do when there's evidence of official misconduct and destroyed records. She looked at him. Richard Cole, and you're the chief who arrested my son without checking a camera. Your son assaulted Grant Hale. Grant stepped out of the hallway. Dad studied him. Former detective. 3 internal complaints. 1 missing evidence inquiry. Grant smiled. You came prepared. I used to prosecute men who confuse confidence with innocence. Rebecca turned to Bennett. City Council needs to review that order. A man in a gray suit walked in. I already did. City Attorney Mark Ellison said. It's valid. Dad looked at me. Were you offered counsel? I was offered confession. Rebecca snapped. It was a plea proposal. Authorized by whom? Dad asked. She said nothing. Grant stepped forward. Ethan attacked me. I'm the victim. Then explain why your SUV entered the evidence yard 43 minutes before Ethan received an anonymous text. Rebecca looked at me. What text? The one that brought me there. You never asked. Dad placed photos on the counter, showing Grant carrying evidence boxes to his SUV. Rebecca turned to Maya. Where did those come from? A backup camera on the maintenance building. Maya said. You said the surveillance was deleted. The warehouse feed was. This camera uses another server. Grant looked at Rebecca. You said there weren't any other cameras. Silence followed. Dad raised an eyebrow. That sounded like complaint. Grant recovered. She said the city was replacing the system. Bennett held up a bag phone. We recovered this from Mr. Hale's vehicle. Grant stepped back. I want an attorney. Rebecca pointed at my cell. None of this proves Ethan didn't attack him. Maya answered. Grant's blood was on the grip of the pry bar, not just a striking edge. So, the pattern suggests he held it when he was injured. Grant shook his head. Ethan forced it against me. His fingerprints are where someone would pick it up, Maya said, not where someone would swing it. Rebecca stared at Grant. Becca, he said, they're framing me because of his father. I waited for her to step away from him. Instead, she told Maya, you don't discuss findings in front of suspect. He shouldn't be a suspect. I decide that. No, Mark said. Not anymore. He handed Rebecca another document. Deputy Mayor Collins has placed you on emergency administrative leave. You can't suspend me over accusations. The city charter allows it when a department head may have compromised evidence. I didn't compromise anything. Agent Bennett unlocked Grant's phone and played a recording. Grant's voice came first. Delete the warehouse footage before Ethan gets there. Then Rebecca's. I can't keep cleaning up after you. You owe me. A pause. I'll handle Ethan, she said. Move the drives. Rebecca looked at me. It's out of context. What context makes it better? I meant I'd talk to you. You talked to me with handcuffs. I didn't know he'd hurt himself. You knew he was stealing evidence. I was going to fix it. By making me confess? Grant backed toward the exit. Bennett's partner blocked him. Rebecca turned on Grant. You recorded me? It was automatic. You told me our calls were secure. Dad checked his watch. Chief Cole, 9 minutes ago you refused a state order. She glared at him. Are you enjoying this? No. My son trusted you. That silenced her. Mark stepped closer. Rebecca, surrender your weapon, badge, access card, and department phone. Her hand hovered near her badge. I built this department. Maya said quietly, then you should have protected it. Rebecca looked around. No officer defended her. She placed her gun and access card on the counter. Her fingers closed around the gold badge. She looked at me. Tell them I wasn't trying to hurt you. You watched Grant frame me. I was scared. So was I. You still chose him. She removed the badge and set it beside her gun. Dad checked his watch again. 10 minutes. Grant suddenly pointed at Rebecca. This was her plan. She told me what files to take. Rebecca turned slowly. What? She runs the department. I followed her orders. You begged me to help you. I'm not going to prison for your decisions. He tried to leave. Maya grabbed his arm. Grant Hale, you're under arrest for evidence tampering and obstruction. He fought the cuffs until 2 officers forced his hand behind him. Then he looked at me and smiled. You think this ends with a few hard drives? I said nothing. Ask your wife about Daniel Price. Rebecca went still. Dad noticed. Who is Daniel Price? The reporter who died 3 years ago. Grant said. Shut up, Rebecca whispered. Grant laughed as Maya led him away. Tell Ethan why you buried the accident report. The door closed behind him. Agent Bennett faced Rebecca. You need an attorney. Mark unlocked my cell. I stepped out, but I didn't go to my wife. Dad stood in front of me. For 5 years, I had imagined our reunion. All I managed was, you came. He placed a hand on my shoulder. You called. Behind him, Rebecca picked up my wedding ring from a property bag. Ethan, she held it toward me. Please let me explain. I closed my hand instead of taking it. Rebecca lowered the hand, holding my wedding ring. Agent Bennett stepped between us. Mrs. Cole, you're coming with me. I'm not under arrest. Not yet, but you are being interviewed as part of an obstruction investigation. Rebecca looked at me again. Ethan, Daniel Price was an accident. Dad answered before I could. Then you won't mind explaining it on the record. She was taken upstairs with an attorney. Grant was moved to county lockup, and the assault charge against me was suspended pending review. Maya handed me my property bag. You're free to go. I took my wallet and keys, but left the ring inside. Maya noticed. I'm sorry. Did you know about Daniel Price? Only rumors. He was a reporter with the Redwood Falls Gazette. He was investigating Grant's company. What happened? His car went off Canyon Road. The report said he'd been drinking. Was he? His blood alcohol test came back negative. I stared at her. Then why was alcohol listed as the cause? She looked toward the interview rooms. Rebecca signed the final report. Dad's expression hardened. Get me a copy. Maya hesitated. The original witness statement is missing. Which witness? A delivery driver saw a black SUV following Price's car. Grant drove a black SUV. I sat down. Rebecca had worn her dress uniform to Daniel Price's funeral. I remembered her standing beside his mother, promising the department had done everything possible. That night, she had come home and cried in my arms. I had believed the case affected her because she cared. Now I wondered whether she had been crying from guilt. Dad sat beside me. You don't have to protect her. I know. You've said that before. I looked at him. This isn't the time to tell me you were right. I wasn't going to. What were you going to say? That loving someone can make an intelligent man defend things he would condemn in anyone else. I looked away. That sounds like I told you so with better vocabulary. It probably is. Despite everything, I almost laughed. Rebecca was released the next afternoon. Her attorney said the state had not yet decided whether to charge her. She came home after dark. I was in the kitchen with a folder containing Daniel Price's case file. Dad had offered to stay, but I told him I needed to face her alone. Rebecca stopped when she saw the folder. You read it. Yes. She removed her coat. Ethan, did Grant kill Daniel Price? I don't know. Wrong answer. It's the truth. The witness saw Grant's SUV. The witness saw a black vehicle. The witness identified part of the plate. Rebecca sat across from me. I wasn't the lead investigator. You signed the report. I supervised the unit. You ordered them to remove the witness statement. Her eyes filled. Grant told me the witness was unreliable. And you believe him? I believe the evidence could be challenged. So you made sure no one could challenge it. She pressed both hands to her face. I thought I was preventing a false accusation. I pushed another document toward her. Grant's security company tracked Daniel's phone for 6 days before the crash. She looked at the page but didn't touch it. I didn't know that. Did you know Grant was following him? No. Did you know Grant threatened him? She stayed silent. I leaned forward. Rebecca, Daniel called me 2 days before the accident. What did he say? He said Grant was using off-duty cops to intimidate witnesses. And what did you do? I confronted Grant. What did he tell you? That Daniel had fabricated the story because he wanted a headline. And then Daniel died. Her voice dropped. Yes. I stood. You buried the statement after his death. Grant showed me a recording. What recording? A call between Daniel and me. It sounded like I gave him the location of a confidential witness. Did you? No. The audio had been edited. But I couldn't prove it then. So Grant blackmailed you. He said if the recording became public, I'd lose my career and the witness would be exposed. You should have reported him. I was scared. You were a police captain. I was still scared. I shook my head. You keep using fear like it erases choice. It doesn't. Then stop saying it like a defense. She wiped her face. I thought if I protected him once, he'd give me the recording and disappear. He didn't. No. How many times after that? 3 cases. I stared at her. 3? 2 complaints against his company and the warehouse. You let me believe he was just an ex who couldn't move on. I was trying to keep you out of it. You married me while he was blackmailing you. Her face changed. That isn't why I married you. Then why didn't you tell me? Because I knew what you did for a living. I worked in cybersecurity, mostly for government contractors. What does that have to do with us? Before our wedding, I suspected Grant was monitoring my phone. I thought you could help me prove it. The words landed slowly. You dated me because of my job? No. Answer me. I asked to meet you because of your work. I laughed once. Our first date was an accident. No. You told me Maya introduced us because she thought we'd get along. She did introduce us. Because you asked her to. Rebecca nodded. I walked away from the table. Did you ever love me? Yes. From the beginning? She started crying. Not in the beginning. But I fell in love with you. How romantic. I know how it sounds. It sounds like you used me. I did at first. I turned back. She looked smaller without the uniform. But I reminded myself that the woman in front of me had sent me to a cell. You could have told me at any point. I was ashamed. No, you were comfortable. That's not fair. You built a life with me because I made you feel safe. Then the second Grant needed protection, you handed him mine. She stood and reached for me. I stepped back. Her hand dropped. Do you still love me? She asked. I hated that the answer came so easily. Yes. Hope appeared on her face. I crushed it. But loving you doesn't mean I can trust you. Her phone rang. It was Agent Bennett. Rebecca put the call on speaker. We found an offshore account tied to Grant's payment network, Bennett said. The account holder is Ethan Cole. Rebecca stared at me. I said, I don't have an offshore account. We believe it was created using stolen identity documents. Bennett replied, but there are 27 transfers totaling $4.8 million. Rebecca whispered, Grant is framing you. He already tried once, I said. Why stop? Bennett continued. Mr. Hale's attorney is offering cooperation. He claims Rebecca designed the entire operation. That's a lie, Rebecca said. Then we need evidence. Rebecca closed her eyes. I have it. I looked at her. What evidence? A backup Grant doesn't know about. Financial records, phone logs, vehicle data, everything. Where? She hesitated. The cabin at Lake Mercer. My stomach tightened. We had married there 4 years earlier. You had evidence at our wedding cabin? I put it in a floor safe the morning we got married. I could barely speak. You stood beside me. Promised there would be no secrets between us. And evidence against your ex was under the floor? I wanted one thing he couldn't take from me. I looked at the wedding ring still sealed in the property bag. He already took it. Bennett's voice came through the phone. No one goes to that cabin alone. We leave at 7 tomorrow morning. Rebecca ended the call. Ethan, I can fix this. I picked up the folder. No, you can tell the truth. And us? I walked to the door. There may not be an us left to save. Chapter 5, What She Lost. Agent Bennett drove. That big asset beside here. I rode in back with Dad. You don't have to go inside, Dad said. The account is in my name. That isn't what I meant. I looked at Rebecca through the mirror. I know. At Lake Mercer, Bennett stopped near the cabin. Stay together, she said. No one touches anything until I clear it. Rebecca led us to the bedroom. The safe is under the floorboard beside the closet. Dad frowned. You hid evidence here on your wedding day? Rebecca didn't look at him. I was planning to turn it over. When? I asked. After our 5th anniversary? She knelt and removed a loose board. A gunshot hit the wall above her. Bennett pulled us down. Back door, she shouted. A man rushed into the hallway with a handgun. I recognized Owen Briggs, a former officer who worked for Grant. Give me the drive, he said. Rebecca stood between him and me. Owen put the gun down. You don't give orders anymore. He aimed at her. She moved first, slamming his wrist against the doorframe. The gun fired again. Bennett tackled him while Dad kicked the weapon away. A second man grabbed me from behind. Rebecca could have run. Instead, she hit him with a lamp and pulled me free. He swung at her. I drove my shoulder into him, and Bennett's partner rushed in from outside. Within seconds, both men were on the floor in cuffs. Rebecca held her side. You're bleeding, I said. It's a cut. You came back for me. She gave a broken laugh. I'm trying to make one decent choice. Bennett opened the floor safe. Inside were 3 encrypted drives, a ledger, 2 phones, and a memory card. I helped unlock the drives. Grant's records filled the screen. Payments to officers, stolen evidence, illegal surveillance, and a video from Daniel Price's car. The video showed Grant's SUV forcing Daniel toward the edge of Canyon Road. Rebecca covered her mouth. I didn't know. Dad answered, You knew enough to stop asking questions. She nodded. Yes. The ledger also showed that the offshore account in my name had been created 6 weeks earlier. Grant had copied my identification from Rebecca's home office. She looked at me. I gave him access to our house. You told me he'd never been there. I lied. I know. That afternoon, prosecutors charged Grant with murder, conspiracy, money laundering, obstruction, and evidence tampering. The men at the cabin admitted he had paid them to destroy the drives. My name was cleared. Rebecca's wasn't. She pleaded guilty to obstruction, evidence destruction, and official misconduct. In exchange for full cooperation, the state agreed not to seek prison time beyond the county term already served. She could never work in law enforcement again. 3 months later, I attended her sentencing. The judge asked if she wanted to speak. Rebecca stood without a uniform. I used my badge to protect the wrong person, she said. Then I used my marriage as cover. My husband warned me, and I punished him for being right. She turned toward me. I loved Ethan. I still do, but love without honesty became another weapon in my hands. The judge sentenced her to probation, community service, and permanent loss of certification. Outside the courthouse, reporters waited. Rebecca found me near the steps. She held our wedding ring. I kept thinking about the night we got married. She said, "You told me I never had to be afraid alone again." I meant it. I know. And I still chose Grant. I handed her an envelope. She opened it and saw the divorce petition. Her eyes closed. So this is it. I'm not doing this to punish you. It still hurts. It hurts me too. Then why can't we try? Because when you thought you had to choose between your husband and your past, you arrested your husband. I was wrong. You were. And I almost lost my freedom because you needed Grant to be innocent. She held out the ring. Take it. I shook my head. It belongs to the life we thought we had. Tears ran down her face. Did any of it matter? All of it mattered. That's why this hurts. She stepped closer but didn't touch me. Will you ever forgive me? Maybe. Will you ever come back? No. That answer broke something in both of us. She nodded and closed her hand around the ring. I hope your father knows you called him, because you're stronger than he thinks. Dad stood several feet away. I looked at him. He knows now. Rebecca walked toward her attorney. She stopped once, but I didn't call her back. Dad joined me. You need a ride? I have my car. That wasn't the question. I smiled. Dinner? Your mother left 6 messages. She's pretending she isn't worried. I've missed her. She's missed you more. We started down the courthouse steps. Behind us, Grant was brought through another entrance for his federal hearing. He saw me and shouted, "Rebecca ruined everything." I turned. "No, Grant, you did." He looked toward Rebecca, expecting her to defend him one last time. She didn't. She faced the cameras and said, "Daniel Price deserved the truth. So did my husband." Then she walked into court alone. Dad placed a hand on my shoulder. For years, I had thought leaving Rebecca would mean losing the best part of my life. Instead, I finally understood that love wasn't proven by how much betrayal I could survive. It was proven by knowing when to stop accepting it. I left the courthouse with my father, and for the first time since my wife put me in handcuffs, I felt free.